You know, I've said over the years in countless videos that modern science hasn't got a clue in hell what the hell gravity is. Not a clue in hell. And some people thought I was exaggerating or being hyperbolic when I said that, but I was actually being quite literal. I posted a link to an article today, and the subcaption is, we asked, I think it said we asked six different quantum physicists the nature of gravity, and we got six different answers. Literally, there's no branch of science that knows what gravity is. And that's okay. I've never chided anybody for not knowing stuff. The issue comes in the form of the fact that these same hubristic, PhD-endowed fools teach other people poppycock and nonsense. They paint Mother Nature as a crazy streetwalker on crack. They really do. It's nonsensical. It's abstruse and obtuse. It's completely farcical. It would be if I said something as stupid as, well, what governs gravity is microscopic unicorns, and what they do is they fly between objects and they communicate their mutual acceleration towards one another. Unicorns fly from this object to this one, and unicorns fly from the... I mean, they literally, in a different form, teach this nonsensical poppycock. What they've done is that they've... well, I don't want to be, you know, too egregious in saying that they... Well, I better not say that. It would be too aggressive. Suffice to say that everything that they've said about gravity is completely nonsensical. It feigns incredulity. It is an assault on Occam's razor. They keep referring to gravity as a force, and gravity is not only not a force, it's a complete opposite of a force. What's the opposite of force? The opposite of force is, of course, increasing inertia and acceleration, increasing potential. Yeah. Force is, of course, the dissipation of energy, right? And the dissipation of energy is expansive. Well, what's the opposite of the dissipation of energy? It's increasing capacitance. And in Mother Nature, this is not my position, it's an absolute undeniable fact, that the smaller the space, the higher the capacitance. But space itself has no properties. And I will point you out to the fact, and no one's made this observation, even though they know Nikola Tesla's quotes against Einstein. Nikola Tesla was said to be the most calm, peaceful, gentle person in the world. He wouldn't hurt a fly. But the only time Nikola Tesla, over and over again, I didn't say he lost his cool, but he came close to foaming at the mouth, as it were, for Nikola Tesla, was harping on the fact that Einstein's notion, and his cohorts also too, by the way, notion that space had properties and it acted upon other... They actually reified space as a medium, and this is not my position. They did, because when you remove the ether, you actually have to replace it with something else, and what they replaced it with was space-time. Curved space-time. But this is like talking about bending unicorn farts, or, how tall is a leprechaun, or, how many miles is it to the lost city of Xanadu and the cloud? It is completely farcical. It's completely irrelevant because it's nonsensical. It's literally an assault on Occam's razor, common sense, and the logic of a child. Even a child would say, well, that's science fiction. That's like, reading, something in the science fiction section of the library. It's completely ridiculous. But the only time Nikola Tesla lost his cool was haranguing against Einstein's reification of space as having properties. And time doesn't have any properties at all. It is purely conceptual. Time exists conventionally, of course, because as empirical beings, we are measured in our lifespan and countless thousands of other things by our movement in time, with time, against time, so on and so forth. But time exists conventionally, but it doesn't exist ultimately. Time is only a measure of magnitudes. Time is a measure. Time is not a thing. It exists conventionally. It doesn't exist in any way, shape, or form ultimately at all. Neither does a shadow. We think a shadow is real, but a shadow, of course, is merely the absence of light. This is a major defect in human understanding of nature and countless other things, and this is concept reification, which is a fallacy. We reify things that don't exist. We give them credulity. It's like fearing the Loch Ness Monster or fearing Bigfoot's going to break in the door. It's completely ridiculous because these things don't exist. Anyway, Nikola Tesla railed against space having properties, and of course everything is, of course, dielectric and magnetic. You could say everything is electrical, which I don't care, but electricity is a hybrid of magnetism and dielectricity. But space and time is not a medium. This is completely impossible. When I've talked over the years endlessly about gravity and what it is, in its point non-specific mutual mass acceleration, so-called gravity and so-called magnetic attraction, are 100% identical. They are only differentiated out between each other in their attributional nature. The attributional nature is that, of course, so-called magnetic attraction, and magnetism is the complete opposite of attraction, which is increasing inertia and acceleration, decreasing force vector or spatial footprint, if you will, is in the attribution that one is point source, that being magnetism, the other one is non-point source. It's the exact same distinction between a light bulb and a laser. You know the difference between a 5-watt light bulb and a 5-watt laser, right? Yeah, this is about this iPad, this mini iPad, is putting about as much light as a 5-watt light bulb, which is next to nothing. It's just enough to read by in a dark room. A 5-watt laser, however, I don't know if I have a 5-watt laser, a green one and a blue. They are very dangerous. They will burn a hole in your skin. They will permanently blind you. They are powerful. What's the distinction? 5 watts is 5 watts, right? What's the distinction? The distinction is in attribution. One is point source and the other one is non-point source. The exact same distinction exists between so-called magnetic attraction, which does not exist at all, and so-called gravity. Gravity is not an autonomous field modality. All field modalities are ether perturbation modalities. They are only distinguished by the nature of their field modalities and how they express themselves. Just as ice, water, and steam are different temperature and pressure modalities of water, right? We don't need to unify what is already unified. They're already unified. Human beings have divided them. Well, this is gravity over here, and this is, well, we call this magnetic attraction over here. Because you put two magnets together, and they accelerate towards one another, you know, that's obviously magnetic attraction. Now, it is two magnets accelerating towards one another, but it has nothing to do with magnetism. That acceleration is the exact same field phenomena as we call gravity. They keep calling it a force, but gravity is not a force. It's the opposite of a force. Magnetism, by definition, is centrifugal force divergence. It is force by definition. It forms, of course, 1/2 of the conjugate geometry of the entire universe, which is magnetism and dielectricity. Magnetism is a dielectric field. The loss of that energy or inertia of the dielectric manifests as magnetism. It is necessitated, or as the ancient Greeks said, anankie, by this neat little equation, which is my discovery, tattooed on the inside of my right wrist here, which is 1/5 to the power of -3. That necessity, of course, is not original cause or prima causa, original sin. It's the attributional nature of the agathon to the absolute, but that gets onto another subject entirely. The point being, in this article that I made reference to and that I posted on my community forum today, is only from like a couple days ago. They literally asked 6 different prestigious scientists what gravity is. They got 6 different answers. And that's the reason for that is that nobody knows what gravity is. Well, almost nobody. Almost nobody does. But they have literally tried in so many countless facets to paint Mother Nature as just this crazy fool. You know, it's an affront to Occam's razor and common sense. You can't read the stuff that they tell you that gravity is and not just say, well, this is crazy-ass poppycock. You know, if you got sense, if you got a little bit of wisdom and enough common sense, you would read the stuff that these idiots post. And I know what they're saying, but they've reified space and time as a medium. And then they say, well, gravity is the bending of this medium. Well, time is a measure. It's not a thing. It can't be bent. Space has no properties. Nikola Tesla said this over and over and over again. Space has attributes, but it doesn't have properties. Space has no... That's the only time Nikola Tesla literally came close to losing his mind in anger, was the notion from Einstein and his cohorts that space was a thing and that you could bend it. Well, no, you can't. It's literally like talking about bending, you know, Bigfoot's curly hairs or something. You know, it doesn't exist. There's nothing to bend. Space is the after effect, by the way, of a divergent magnetic field. It's the after effect. It is a phenomena which is conventional, but doesn't exist absolutely at all. You can't bend space. It doesn't have properties. Can't do that with a shadow either. A shadow's not a thing. We think of a shadow as a thing. Well, this is a shadow right over here. Well, no, it's an absence of light. It's concept reification fallacy, which human beings are so incredibly fond of doing. Anyway, the point being is that you should think deeper and think more clearly. As Nikola Tesla famously said, I'm trying to remember his exact quote, is that there are plenty of scientists that can think deeply, but they can't think clearly. They're quite insane. Insane asylums are full of deep thinkers, too. This is undeniable. There are people that are like genius-level IQs. And this is true, but they're insane. This is also, too, what we call an intelligent fool. There are some famous politicians, and most evil people on earth are intelligent fools. They use their high intellect but lack of wisdom to convince other stupid people to do dumb things. Kind of like Jim Jones and, various evil politicians throughout time. They are both intelligent and yet incredibly foolish. People don't understand that distinction. You can be both highly intelligent and a fool at the same time. And those are the most dangerous people in the whole world. Intelligent fools. Anyway, that's getting off topic, unfortunately. Just think more clearly. Yeah. Just read stuff with a skeptical eye. It's like, this doesn't make sense. Mother Nature cannot work this way by definition. Because if she did, then Mother Nature would have to be a cross-eyed streetwalker with a bottle of Jack Daniels in one hand and a bottle of oxycodone in the other. Nature can't work that way. There are no dualities in nature. There are no contradictions in nature. Absolutely no dualities in nature. Human ignorance is boundless. And these false perceptions of reality in Mother Nature by these idiots that have reified space and time as a medium and tried to supplant the ether with space and time. These people are fools. They may be highly intelligent, but they're also fools. And those are the most dangerous people. Not ignorant fools, which anybody could tell, that guy's an idiot. No, intelligent fools are the most dangerous kind. These are people that are highly educated yet have no wisdom. Those are the most dangerous people on earth. Always have been, always will be. Bye.